Hey guys, it's Wednesday, February 5th, and we're going to do a quick little market update. I'm going to share some of the information from January and compare it to 2024 very quickly for you guys. Okay, so basically, the first thing I want to share with you guys is about inventory. So inventory last year versus this year, on this exact date, we are actually up by 52%. Okay, we're actually up by 65% in inventory compared to last year in Halton and in Peel. And when we look at inventory levels, last year, Jan 1 to February 5th, we actually went down 8% in inventory. This year, we're actually up 19% in inventory, and York Region is up more than 24% in inventory. And even if I look at last week versus this week, overall, we're up another 3%. In terms of sales, so overall, it seems like for the month of January, we are down compared to the previous January by almost 17%. The only market that was actually up, weirdly enough, was freehold in Toronto. It was up by 1.6%, which was only about 8 units, but that's the only segment that showed that we actually had an increase in sales. York Region was down again over 24% in terms of sales. Week over week sales, we look like we're trended downwards. We were down about 6%. And week over week in York Region, I know I'm picking on York Region right now, but it seems like something is going on over there. Maybe it's temporary, maybe it's going to continue, but week over week in York Region, we were actually down overall 25% in sales, but the interesting number is that we were down about 48% in condo sales. When it comes to price, honestly, through this TREP system, there's no easy way at this point unless I go and extract every single line, which I have done for a certain segment, which I'll share with you guys in a minute. But they have this like last week average price versus 52-week average price. And I saved that data. So then at least we get some kind of an indication of what's going on. But if I look at that, the 1 week versus the 52 weeks average price across the GTA, we're down about 4.4%, which is about $50,000. Halton is down 12.5%, which is about $160,000. So Halton, Peel, York Region, a little interesting things going on over there. But even when I look at the average price week over week, it looks like we're down about 1.4%, which is about $16,000. Again, picking on York Region, it's down week over week by about 7.7%, which is $104,000. Now, for that little segment, because I'm nutty, so I go and I export everything out of the MLS system I have access to. So I did it for obviously Durham. We looked at Pickering, Ajax, Whitby, Oshawa, and Clarington. So I looked at these 5 communities and I compared it to January 24 versus 25. And this is what we come up with. So sales overall are down about 14%, which is about 72 units. Interesting note here is that the condo apartments, they're actually down about 25%, which equals about 11 units. The interesting thing here still is that the detaches were down by 20% or 67 units. So that's still a pretty significant unit play for across Durham. Average price, we were more or less flat. We were down about 0.6%. So there wasn't a huge thing in terms of price compared to last year. So I think that in February, as we continue on, hopefully we have a little bit warmer weather. I think that the sales will pick up. One of the biggest things I've been hearing right now is what's going on in the US with Trump and the tariffs and whatnot. We've had people that were kind of ready to pull the trigger either on buying or selling real estate, upgrading, or maybe even downsizing, or even interested in some interesting pre-construction projects that have come up. I haven't really been so interested in these things, but there is some element of it right now that with certain projects, it does seem like an interesting idea. But with these things, you have to be thinking long term. If you're concerned about what's going to happen in the next 1 or 2 years or something like that, maybe this is not for you, okay? And I think this is the reality that we have to get back to as being real estate investors, because I've mentioned it a lot of times. We get carried away. Past few years, you could have pretty much made a lot of money in 2-3 years, flip pre-construction, this and that. But real estate has always been a long-term strategy. So the stuff that I'm seeing that's available in the pre-con area right now, like I said, with specific builders or developments, I think that over the course of 5 years, but 10 years and 15 years, I think that there's money to be made. Guys, again, I want to remind you something of what Warren Buffett says, right? He basically says when everybody is running in, you should be the person running out. And when everyone is running out, you should be running in. So does this lead for some opportunities for certain long-term invested-minded people? I think so. Interesting enough for me to even try to wrap my mind around it and possibly consider it. If you don't have any kind of investment at this point right now, this would be something that would be a really cool thing to get your foot in the door with as an investment, or even as a first-time home buyer that may not necessarily have all of the money to put down and may not want to assume a mortgage at this point right now. If you guys have any questions about the market, feel free to send me a DM, give me a call. Most of you guys have my number, easy to find, just Google my number. And if you guys are interested in some of the stuff that I've been talking about the developments that I find interesting, reach out. I'll share that information with you guys as well. Have a great day.